Yeah, okay, so now it's recording. Okay, so I've had some technical difficulties in trying to record this and explaining, and so Joan and I are laughing in the process. But what I was saying is this is a topic that we're going to address, and it's dealing with grief. When Joan came in, um, we were just talking about grief, and she said, I think we should talk about grief because you were feeling something going on with me. Yeah. Um, and so I went to the cemetery. My mom died January 21st of this year. Went to the cemetery, just felt tears, building up. But yeah, that's what's been going on. Yesterday was a good day, but it's about 3 days of just feeling,
Right.
yeah. So, yeah, what would you like to add to that?
When you're feeling that way, I mean, it's a time to process, and you felt it.
Mm-hmm.
And sometimes we kind of want to hold that back
Mm-hmm.
because something about it puts you in a vulnerable state of thinking about those memories, but something inside your spirit was saying, no, you've got to, process some of that. And I think a lot of times people want to avoid that, but you didn't. And I think that's probably maybe some of the reason why we're doing this is because it's okay. The more you avoid something, the stronger it gets.
Mm-hmm.
And for you to sit in it and just kind of process through it, and it could be a way to just get through it, but also you were just called to go do that, and that's very important to listen to that, to your emotions, and your whole body was telling you, because you were telling me your stomach, it was all in your stomach.
Yeah, I got there and I just wanted to just lean over like this, and I felt that if I could just get someplace where I could just sit and lean, and so I did that there. And then I heard the song, and as I was going to the cemetery, I was playing the song over and over, "Hold Me Now" by Kirk Franklin, and that was helping. But I don't know why I was avoiding, because I don't mind being vulnerable.
Yeah.
I don't mind that at all. I don't mind any of that, and being with my emotions and feeling them.
And you could have been busy, with life, and just
Yeah.
kind of put it on the back burner unconsciously, and just all of a sudden it just hit you.
Something that I just noticed, and this is something that I notice with clients sometimes, but notice I cleared my throat. And so the throat, and this is something that I tell clients when I'm doing brain spotting, is the throat holds grief, and memories of physical, sexual, emotional abuse. You feel something in your throat, clear in your throat, a lump in your throat, a ball in your throat, tightness, feels like it's closing up. So when I cleared my throat and we were talking about grief, it's just like it's a little something there. It's something there. It was something there. Earlier, when I was driving to the cemetery, I was like feeling just a little something. And the reason I say a little something is because I've done just a lot of work on trauma with myself. So I've done a lot of work. So anything that comes up for me is not going to be, it's going to be very small. And because it's very small, it's easy to say, oh, it's okay. And I think that's probably what I did today. It was like, oh, it's just something really small, so I'm not gonna, it's not enough to warrant, doing something about it,
Right.
But today I did, because it was just like, it didn't go away. I ended up this morning, I thought, I think I want to go see a movie. And it was really a good movie. Went to Circle Cinema and saw a movie, and with a friend, and that was good for her. It was good for me. And then after that, it was just like, okay, I'm still feeling sad, so now I need to address that. So then circling back around and doing that. But sometimes, you don't know what to do in that moment. You don't know what to do.
Right.
what is it that's going to bring the release?
Right,
Mhm.
right. Okay, but that's listening to
Yeah.
yourself, your
Mhm.
body, and kind of knowing yourself too, you
Mhm.
know?
Mhm.
So when you took that moment, you did know yourself. You knew
Mhm.
that something was off.
Mhm.
And that's why, we talk about understanding, the biggest thing is understanding your feelings and your thoughts. And then you actually understand yourself and then others.
Mhm.
So,
Yeah, I think, you had pulled up on your phone the 7 stages of grief. And I'm at acceptance, there's no anger, I mean, it was a beautiful death. No unresolved issues, I mean, it's the best that God could have given me. I mean, it was really good. And I'm in a good place, but I know that there are people out there who are not. Can you just kind of go over some of those stages of grief?
yeah,
Because some people also get stuck.
right.
They get stuck
Right.
at a particular stage, and what I find is that these unresolved issues are going to show up at some point. So people could be grieving, and then they're angry and not even aware that they're angry, and so that anger comes out in road rage. The
Right.
anger comes out in some sort of domestic violence, or some rant, or it comes out. It's going to come out if we don't deal with it. So what are those stages?
Well, the stages are, denial is the first one, and then guilt, and then anger and bargaining, depression. This one's you can turn it inside, upturn, I don't know what it means, but reconstruct, working through it, but basically acceptance is the last one. But you can move back and forth through these stages. It doesn't have to be a particular, steps that it just, if you're in denial at first, you might go back to denial again. If you're angry, it can subside, and then all of a sudden you're just angry, like, why did this happen? I don't understand. If there is issues, or it could be suicide, like, and that's a lot to work through, is that part of anger and guilt of maybe you blame yourself or you weren't there. And even if it's not suicide, it may be like, I don't know, maybe I didn't do enough, towards the end, all kinds of things. So that part of the unresolved issues can really work against you until you get some therapy and work through it and figure out. But for you, I mean, you were blessed to not have those issues, but there's people out there that struggle through a lot of that, and
One of the things I think that also has helped me is not only taking the things beforehand, but I kept a grief journal. Last year I started a grief journal, so I would write different things, and so that has helped. I haven't gone back and looked through it. I'm not ready quite to do that. I just want to just keep writing. One of the things I thought about today is, so I have a bag of her things that I got from the funeral home. That's what she was wearing, the pajamas that she had on. And I haven't pulled those out yet. And I will, because I want to. I want to go through the bag. And I'll know when it's time. It's just sitting in my room right now. But just kind of pacing myself and doing that. I think another thing that is coming up for me, so I'm hoping that this is helping people out there, is that I'm at an age where death is around me. So friends are dealing with aging parents, and so I'm careful when I step into that, because I don't want to go far in that caregiving role that they're in, because I'm just coming out of it, and so that can be depressing. So I have to be really careful of that, when to step in, to do something, and when not to do something. So maybe that is offering services in a different kind of way,
Right, right,
but not me physically being there,
right.
you know, so maybe it's a card, or maybe it's, sending them a gift certificate, or something to let them know that I'm thinking of them, but I physically am not able to right now,
Mhm.
because it's too much. It was, got a phone call today from someone, and it was just like I couldn't take it, you know, because a lot of times I feel that, and I am, like God uses me as the healer for the healers, others, you know, in the profession. And so I have to be really careful as to what I take in.
Right.
Yeah, as I'm going through this, so I have to, take some time. Yeah.
And that's good for them to understand that they can pace themselves to understand where they're at. That
Yeah.
if they don't have to, you know, to know where to give, where it doesn't drain them
Yes.
because of what
Yeah.
they're going through, you know.
Yeah, that it's okay to say no.
Mhm.
You know, even if someone has done, so much for you and everything, if you don't have it to give, then don't, it's okay to say no. It's okay to not pick up the phone.
Mhm. Mhm.
It's okay.
Mhm.
It's okay to, watch a movie. It's okay to, play a game, a video game, or whatever it is. It's okay to take that time to do that, because that's what is the fuel that you need
Mhm.
back in your tank,
Mhm.
because it can just be drained.
Right.
Mhm.
Right.
Mhm.
Yeah. And that's probably also adjusting. I think the biggest thing, what I've learned when I was doing grief counseling, I didn't know how to articulate how they felt lost and say that that person's still with you. But when they grieve and when they let go of that grief, they didn't understand that they're trying to learn how to live life without them in a new way, but not lose them.
Mhm.
And that was the biggest factor that was hard for them to get mentally and emotionally wrapped around that, because it's not that you had to get over them, like a lot of people would say,
Yeah.
oh, it's time for you to get over it.
Mhm.
But that's a different process for each person to walk through. And there's no rules to how long you may grieve, but learning how to live a new life without that person
Mhm.
is different for that person.
Mhm.
And that was the hugest thing for me to articulate that with clients and understand that they didn't have to part from them.
Yeah.
You know, it's like if they stopped grieving,
Mhm.
they thought, oh, I'm going on life without them.
Mhm. Mhm. I'm abandoning them.
Yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
Yeah, I can definitely see that. I was, because I'm going to be teaching some things about grief, and everyone's grief, looks different. And so I attended a grief recovery support group just to see what it was like and to see if that was something that was for me. And I talked to the facilitator afterwards, and I just don't feel that it is. I feel like I'm further along in my grief. And so I think to be in that, if I were to go to that grief support, I feel that I would be more in a counselor role, trying to help them than I would be for myself. So I decided at that point that's probably not something that I need right now. Now it's, who knows, I may need it later, but right now it's just like, no, that's not something that I need. I felt that it would be a waste of my time for where I am in this process right now.
Right.
So yeah.
And that's okay.
Mhm.
Yeah, That's okay, and that's, everybody's journey is different.
Yeah.
And that's what's more important to understand, that everybody's journey is different and it doesn't look the same. And the part of the grief support is you're together with the people that going through grief.
Mm-hmm.
However, your journey still feels lonely
Yeah.
because you have that relationship. Nobody else had that relationship with that person.
Yeah.
But you still can glean from their support. But it still feels, how would you address that? I mean, how would you address that feeling, that journey by yourself with, because nobody knows your mom like you do,
Yeah, and I felt alone a lot, because different people were there at different parts of the journey. But when it came down to it, it was me that was there. And so needing comfort, and that's where I draw from my faith. Yeah, that's like huge. It's like, so one of the conversations I had with God is, okay, my mom, you gave my mom, or me to my mom, for her to raise me. Now you have to finish what she didn't finish. So he is.
That's so good.
Because one of the things when I was growing up, I would get mad at my mom. I was probably like 5 years old or something. Oof. But I would get mad at her, and then I would take the fat under her arm back here, pinch it, and twist it. She'd say, "Ow!" Oh my gosh! Yes, you would. Yes, I would do that. Ow! And then I remember, again, when I was 5 years old, she had to go to work, and I was mad at her. Me, temper tantrums, and I hid her keys. I had to go to kindergarten, so I went to kindergarten. I came back, and she was still there.
Oh my goodness! Wow. Okay. I don't picture that, but maybe I do.
Listen, I did not get a spanking, and I should have. I was spared many spankings. Yeah, the things I did. But my mom, she did the best she could, and she loved me, and yeah. So yeah, there's some good memories and things. And then I have videos, that I recorded towards the end, and we would pray together, and I'd take her to it was adult daycare. So yeah, there's some good things. Yeah, I think I'll probably go through photographs and things, and that will also help.
And that's an important thing.
Yeah.
To have rituals and things to, do, like memory books, to get them through, to process through things about their relationship, to, get through their grief.
Yeah, and then to lean on other people when I need to. There's a friend that I can call, and I get the help that I need. I get the hug that I need. When I need a hug, I get conversations from friends. I get just spontaneous going to a movie, or going out or something, and so that helps too. I'm really about breaking the monotony, just the structure that my life has had, because it was structured, when I was caring for her. And so now I'm able to travel, I'm able to do all of these things. And now I'm having to have a new structure. So it's like, okay, I know that I need to be out to meet people. I prefer not to, really. Because people can be taxing and pull, but I'm forcing myself to be out and meeting new people because that gets me thinking about new ideas and new ways of doing things, and just gets me out of my comfort zone so that I'm not, it would be easy to, that depression stage that you talked about in the stages of grief, it would be easy to sink into that. And so I think that anyone that's grieving, we need to make an effort to get out and do things. The other thing that I want to say about grief is that grief, we usually just think of as loss of a loved one, but it's more than that. It can be the loss of a pet, it can be a loss of a family home,
Right.
it can be a loss of, a job and, getting fired, and it can be any of those things.
Breakup.
Yeah, a breakup. Yeah, all of those things contribute to these feelings of grief and loss. And I think that we overlook that. We attach it to someone who has died,
Right.
but it's more than that. And so sometimes, why is it affecting us like this? The loss of a loved one is because it's a cumulative effect of all these other losses that have occurred. And so you may think, things have been resolved, and then you start crying or acting out in some way. It's because look at some of the other issues around grief and loss that you've experienced before, and that could be the root issue.
And sometimes coming out of trauma too, because if you don't heal of your trauma, it takes a little longer it makes it difficult because of the window of tolerance may be difficult for you, and then you have grief on top of it. It's really difficult with both of them, So so it's harder for a person to navigate that if they didn't deal with their trauma. And also trauma with grieving the innocence of your childhood.
Yes, exactly. Yeah, so it gets more complicated. So I think that we would encourage people to get counseling, get group support, and find someone maybe that they can, talk to, even if it's a friend, if they're not ready for the counseling process, but to find someone to talk to, and they don't have to be in it alone.
Right.